ladies and gentlemen. How are y'all doing? It's alive. It's alive. We're lit. So I'm basically changing up the format here. So we're gonna go live on Inside Abode. So hopefully you dig it. And if you want to tap in and ask, comment, questions, whatever, let me know. And I'm going to have hopefully a cadence moving forward on this. But that's what I've been trying to take some time to figure out how to do this, and then also just jump off the ledge. Going live ain't nothing to be sneezing about or nothing crazy, but because like it's not scripted, so I'm just doing what I'm doing. I do have some stuff for you today. So today we're going to talk about. I don't have a guest for today, but I do want to talk about the market. I know that a lot of people have been thinking about the market, talking about the market. We have the elections going on. There's just a lot of uncertainty right now, so I want to make sure that we cover that, and that's one of the goals of the podcast is to make sure that we're putting you on to all the information that we talk about here in the office all the time. But I want to make sure that you understand that too, or know it, or maybe there's something so maybe there's something that you already know. Cool, hit me up if you want. So feel free to email me and hit subscribe too. Please hit subscribe, man. I really think it's it's really helpful to know like if you're watching or like what I need to be showing you guys, or what you want to know or what you want to hear, what type of guests do you want on. Like that's really helpful when you give me that feedback. So hit the subscribe button. There's a link right there. It's gone now, but it'll come back up over time. So as I learn how to produce in real time. So that's what's dope about this is I'm really enjoying the idea of going live and producing in real time. So let me get to what I'm going to talk about today, because I have a lot to share. I don't want to keep you very long. And I do think that some of the stuff I have to share is pretty important. I just need to find it. But yeah, I want to share some information on the market for you. So first thing we're going to take a look at is, let's see, let's take a look at, oh, this article I came by that was pretty interesting. Architecture, architectural styles. This is for the Northwest MLS, Northwest Multiple Listing Service, and it's going over the different type of I can't say that. That's crazy. Architectural styles, listing data and market trends. So I thought that this was interesting. And of course, number one, if you live up here, you live in Tacoma, you definitely know what's number one, and that is the Craftsman. So the Craftsman, clear winner, 112,472 homes sold over the last 10 years. If you don't know what a Craftsman is, characterized by low gable roofs, they have like wood trim, they got the decks that wrap around that front right there, crown molding. A lot of times you'll have, there are 100. I lived in a Craftsman. Oh man, that was a while ago. It was like 100 years old. Oh, fun fact, it was Dale Chihuly's childhood home. So that was interesting. That's pretty crazy. And then the woodwork, you'll notice that has woodwork, and I mean, they're just beautiful homes. But we have, like North Tacoma. If you're in North Tacoma, you're definitely going to see a lot of Craftsmans. Lincoln District, a lot of Craftsmans. Just around Tacoma, you're going to see a lot of Craftsmans, just because that was the era that homes were being built. But here, yeah, 112,472. Look at this though. This is interesting. It falls like, so the number of homes, well, first of all, the price. So let's take a look at, 370 median in 2013 and then 10 years later, 701 median for Craftsman homes. That's pretty crazy. Like, so just understand that if you're looking for a home out in our area, like in Tacoma or even in the Pierce County area, Craftsmans are pretty popular, especially in Tacoma. But yeah, that's a big jump. But also look how little there. Like, so if you're looking at a Craftsman right now, you're not alone. Like, there's a lot of people that clearly like that, because even just a couple years ago, you had 11,000, 12,000, 8,000, 6,000. Now this goes along with the inventory, the decrease in inventory that we have, or I'm sorry, the increase in inventory that we have. But you would think that this number would be opposite, not lower. And so Craftsmans are still in demand. So that's what you need to understand, is this market is kind of tricky right now, because you're getting the news and it's saying, all right, inventory is way up here, and we're going to take a look at some inventory numbers here in just a minute. But Yeah, the Craftsmans are very popular. So those ones seem to be going. Second, we have traditional homes. Second most popular style, 68,558 sold over the last 10 years. And again, this is for the Pacific Northwest in general. This is the Northwest MLS database in the Pacific Northwest. So not just the Tacoma. I know I was talking about Tacoma, but this is like all of Pacific Northwest. So I thought that this was interesting too. So, and look at that, 68,558 versus 112,000 for Craftsman. That's like dang near double. And look at this, you got traditional homes, those are second. You can, I'll put a link in the comments if you want to take a look at this article. If you can log in, I don't know if you need to log in to Northwest MLS, but Northwest Contemporary came in third place at 66,000, just right behind the traditional. So if you're looking around in Pacific Northwest, even just anywhere in the Pacific Northwest, this is just something to think about. Like if you see a Craftsman, just know that you're probably not the only person that likes that. Contemporary, modern, not too many modern that you see there, but yeah, Craftsman's definitely, you got Cape Cod, cabins, Tudors. I just thought that the Craftsman was pretty interesting. And the reason why is because when you're looking out there right now, I know the market says one thing, but it might be in your best interest if it is a Craftsman home to consider the condition and how many days on the market it's been on and all those other things. And your agent will help you get through that. So I thought that was interesting. That was pretty cool. Let's see. I got something else too. Let's take a look at some of the other stuff that I have to share with you. I wanted to take a look at some data, but first I'm going to go to the rates. I know that you guys are probably wondering about the rates. Maybe not. If you're listening to this and you don't care about the rates, then you are a special person because I do. So anyway, target rates for the notes. So the Fed's going to meet in November 7th. We know that the election is on the 5th. Whether it's wrapped up by that time or not, nobody knows. I think what's interesting here, though, is that you have the election on the 5th, and then you have November 7th, 2 days later, you have a Fed rate cut potential. Like they're meeting, the FOMC is meeting. And based on what the market's saying is they're saying that there's a 94.1% chance, the market's saying that, we will get another quarter point rate cut. Now, that does not mean that the mortgage rates are going to go down. Chances are that's going to be priced in beforehand. So you might want to take a look at where we're at the second half of this month in terms of rates and see if that's, something that you want to, I don't know, just, I just feel like there's a lot of optimism, but it's cautious right now because of the election, because we don't know what's going on. I just know that there are good times ahead and the rates will be coming down over time. At what rate, we don't know. I can't tell you what's going on. I'm just telling you what the markets are saying, and there's a potential for another quarter point rate cut on November 7th. So just be aware of that. So that's the other thing. So let's take a look at some other data points here. So let's say that you're someone that's looking at, like the prices in Gig Harbor and all the other areas in terms of, Seattle, Tacoma areas. So I want to take a look at the prices. Is that still up? Can you still see that? I don't know if you can or not. Let me see. I think you got it up. Select tab to share. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, first time. This is actually really, really interesting. Oh, it won't let me do that, huh? Oh, no. So let's take a look at the median prices. I think that this is interesting looking at this. So right here you have Tacoma, Seattle, Gig Harbor, and Puyallup. And this is using InfoSparks, which is on Northwest MLS. And this is for the last year. So over the last year, you can see prices have kind of just settled. Like obviously it's case by case. But, Gig Harbor with a median sitting at, 800,000, Puyallup at 574,950, Seattle at 933,507, and Tacoma right under 500 at 493,225 for median. But I'd like to go back. Let's like take a look back 5 years even, and you can see, you can see the price action from 2019 to, like let's say to January 2019, Tacoma was at 295. And now you look fast forward, it's 493, 225,000. Seattle, 687,250 to 933. I mean, like we've had some crazy price increases, and I know wages haven't gone up that much. So I think that that's interesting, for one. And then let's take a look at the counties. I want to look at the counties and see how the counties were doing. Let's see. So by county, that tells a different story, which I think is interesting. So, by county, you can see Pierce County, King County, Kitsap County, Thurston County. In January 2023, Pierce County is at 524,000. And now, as of September 2024, 568,000 in Pierce County. King, 799,000, right under 800, about 800,000 median, and now at 955. So I guess the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I want people who are waiting or thinking that, we're going to have a crash or any of those things, I would reconsider, just because I don't like, and that's with really high rates. Now, what's going to happen as we start to, as the Fed starts to quantitative easing and we start, lowering the rates a quarter point, the Fed rate. And I'm concerned about that. So concern meaning like affordability for people, housing prices could go up expeditiously. And I just don't want people to be priced out of a market if they want to live here. So full disclosure. So if this is your first time listening or whatever, my whole stance is this: like, if someone grows up in an area, I just want them to be able to live in the area that they grew up in. Like I feel like that's a reasonable expectation to set for, people in general. I think that should be something. And in Tacoma, that's a really tough ask, I think, for some folks. Let's see, what else do I got? Let's go to this presentation I have here. I think, yeah, might as well do that. Why not? All right. So you can see this. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So this is something that we go over with our agents, and I think that we want to make sure that we're staying up to date on the market. Check this out. Only one time since 1970 have home prices dropped after or during a recession. And that's the 2008. So the one that we typically think about and look at is this one, but the 2008, which for good reason. I mean, we were the reason, the housing was the reason. And I want to see, like, if you look at all the other recessions in the gray here, you can see that housing prices since 1970 have not been really impacted. So I know there's been a lot of talk of the R word and the recession and things like that, but I don't know if I would wait for that in order to look at this after this recession, or 2020. We all know what 2020 is. And it goes straight up. And this is from the stlouisfed.org, stlouisfed.org. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. So if you're thinking about housing prices dropped, maybe we did have the correction right here. We have been correcting for a couple of years now, and everything can't just go up, forever. So I felt like in 2019, what I was hearing a lot of was, everything can't go up forever, and so. It's been a wacky couple of years, and I'm really looking forward to the market kind of balancing and evening out. I do know, however, there's a lot of people that are waiting on the sidelines to purchase a home or move or do whatever they need to do in real estate. So this is interesting. So January 1st through October 6th, when I was taking some of this data, so there's been an increase, and this is just year over year, Pierce County for sale year to date to October 6th in 2023 versus 2024. There's an increase of 37.5% year to date to October 6th in active homes. I'm sorry, homes for sale. Yeah. So 37% increase, 37.5% increase in homes for sale in Pierce County from 2023 to 2024 year to date. That's interesting. Now check this out. So Pierce County solds. So the sold homes are down 3%. So you have more homes for sale, but less homes being sold, but not by a lot, 3% less homes. So you almost have about the same amount of homes being sold, but you have 37% more being listed, which I found fascinating in Pierce County. Again, Pierce County, let's go pending. So the amount of homes pending, down 1%. So really in terms of pending and solds, we haven't had a lot of movement, and just a little bit slightly less, but in terms of the inventory, it's gone up. So what does that look like from an inventory perspective? So this is our months of inventory based on pended sales. And, you can see that I wanted to point out the tops of the last couple years. So 2022, typically in our market, Q4, you're going to have, inventory sitting around. And there's still stuff moving. There's still homes being bought. It's just not the spring market. Days are shorter. People get in the holidays. Kids are in school. Like, people are firmly planted in what they're doing a lot of times. So, sorry, I'm getting texts from. I'm learning to. I tell everyone else this when they get on the pod, and now it's me. So anyway, months of inventory based on pended sales. You can see that there are tops here. And my question for the group was, all right, here's a top here. Are we going to have a top over here? Like, where are we going in terms of months of inventory? That's going to be, who knows? I mean, we're only going to know until it happens. And right now we're in October. We'll get next month's data. But I'm guessing we could potentially see a little bit higher inventory here in Pierce County. I honestly can't tell you, though. I don't have a crystal ball. But the tops here were sitting at about right under 3 in 2022. And then in 2023, about like 2.7-ish months of inventory. And if we come a little bit lower than that in this December, that to me gives us a trend line that's going down. Like, if we land in the 2.4 area, 2.5 area, I feel like that's a trend down. So what I'm trying to make the case of is, like, the inventory, while the national news might say inventory's up, and that might be the case in a lot of places, for us here in Pierce County, Tacoma area especially, that inventory, we can't build on water. So unless it's the Jetsons, you know what I mean? And if it's the Jetsons, and you remember the Jetsons, I don't know, that's an old reference. I'm going to go ahead and quit while I'm ahead. So you can't build on water, though, unless you got water homes. Salmon Beach, shout out to y'all. So let's look at months of inventory in King County, though. I thought that this was interesting because in King County, this went back 5 years. So 2018, right above about 2.7. Look at 2021, how low the inventory, under 1 month of inventory, sorry, based on pended sales. And then shot right back up. Rates went up, and boom, 2022, right back up, which is what is happening. So, or what they wanted. Well, this is what we all wanted. We all wanted more inventory. But take a look at this. This is interesting too. So same thing. I don't know where we're going to end this year in terms of inventory, but I do know that we're at about levels where we were before. And excuse me, that's what was needed, at the time. Look at this. There's not even homes to buy. That's just not a healthy marketplace at all. Not a healthy marketplace. For some it was. For some it was great. I ain't going front. Like, some people, it really was, for our business, it was great. But at what expense? At expense of what? People still need to be able to live and afford a home to live in. So I get it. So inventory, we talked about that. This is just the Pierce County inventory. Let me go forward to, absorption rate. So this is at Abode. We have our Abode specific. So if we're just taking the listings that we have, we like to focus on listings at Windermere Abode. So that's one thing that, and buyers too. Buyers, we love y'all too. We love, but in terms of listings, we definitely have a process for every single listing. So we like to keep track of what's going on there. And you could see here in, 513, 520, what is that, May? That was our most pendings versus actives. And then that's almost flip-flopped here. You have the blue being active and the red being pending, more actives than pendings. So our inventory is just as, runs just the same as the other. So we have some micro trends. I'll just keep that. We'll go past that. This is 10-year Pierce County median price. This is interesting. So I know there's conversation about like, are the prices going to fall? And they could. I don't have a crystal ball. Like I said, I don't know, but I do know this. And Farah brought up a good point about this on an earlier podcast. Is if you look at the 10-year Pierce County median price, the trend line, if I were to draw a trend line here, it just goes straight. And then you'll notice like in 2021, the price just like ballooned. But if you were to just keep drawing the trend line, the correction might have happened right here because it had to correct. So what goes up must come down. This is in any market. It must come down at some point. So to me, I'm looking at this trend line like, okay, so boom. I feel like this is a trend. Like this isn't something, I'm not talking about 1 year, 2 years, whatever. This is a trend for 10 years in our area. And I think that's something to just be noted. Now, if we correct and go down here, 500K or whatever, possible for Pierce County. I just don't think it's likely given what with the rates coming down and where we're at inventory wise, and I just don't know. So at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you. At the end of the day, that's just what you have to do. There's some Redfin data here, migration patterns. Oh, this is good. So, man, you know what? I'm just going to show one of these, but we have more of these if you're interested in the dual market stuff. So for homes that are for sale, like I like to break it down into two different marketplaces. So you have 0 to 600,000, and you have 600,000 to $1 million, and then $1 million and up. So Pierce County sale to sold. So like for homes that were on the market, that were put on the market in the $0 to $600,000 range, you could see 0 to 30 days, homes that were sold in 30 days or less, that's 70% of the homes. And this is year to date. This is from January 1 to October, was that 4th or 6th, I said, I think. So you can see that this is, 70%. And then in 31 to 60 days, 16% of those were sold there at 100% of list price. Now, I look at the 100% sales price to list price. These could have, after 30 days, potentially had a price decrease. Now, on the next one, when I'm doing the data, I'll take a look at that, and because I do have that data point, it's somewhere. It's just not on this particular graph, but yeah, I just think it's interesting to look at. Like 70% of the homes that are in the 600 and under range typically sell within 0 to 30 days. 600 to 1 million, that's a different market. So you can see here, 0 to 30 days, 59%, almost 10% less homes are sold, in that time frame in this price range. So I thought that was interesting. And then don't worry, because in the next 30 days, like you're still selling. I just think we got so used to like things selling in like 2 days and 3 days. Like that's just not a healthy market, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. And then 9% being sold in 61 to 90 days. Now, again, this 100% sales price to list price, I'm not all the way convinced that it's always 100%, because not from like this first time when it goes on the market, there could have been a price improvement, and then, like just it sells for the whole price of the improvement. So and then you have $1 million and up. So $1 million and up market, 0 to 30 days, 55, almost 55%, 54.75%, and then 31 to 60, in the next day. So in the next 30 days, 21% being sold. So things are moving. It's just taking time. It's taking time, and that is good for buyers. That's good for buyers, right? I mean, so if you're someone that's looking to buy a home in the market, great, that's dope. And because right now you have time to make choices and do stuff like that. Like, let me check the chat, see if anyone's in it. Nope, nobody in the chat. But you have time to really search and do all those kinds of things. So anyway, subscribe to the podcast. If you like this format, great. Let me know. If you're not feeling it, well, guess what? We're going to do live anyway. So if you're not feeling it, that's just what we're going to do. So sometimes we'll go live. Sometimes we might not, just based on what the scheduling is for a guest. Or if we don't have a guest, you'll just hear me on here rambling about something. And, hopefully we can flesh this out and make it worthwhile. So anyway, with that, y'all be good. Make sure you hit subscribe. Inside Abode podcast, live, stream on the channel, potentially on other platforms, coming soon. And with that, we'll see y'all in the next one. All right, peace. Where's my theme music at? Give me my theme music. All right, well, I didn't end it like that well, so I'm going to try that again. Y'all be good.